They say Kenai Fjords is a must-see, but is it a must-see in the pouring rain? We spent over $500 to kayak from the face of Holgate Glacier in the pouring rain. It was cold, it was wet, and it became one of the most unforgettable days of our lives. Welcome to episode 4 of our Alaska adventure. And so we're going to go out on a boat and see if Vito and I can work together as a couple in a sea kayak. Our day starts in Seward, Alaska, a small coastal town with a big personality. With a population of just under 3,000, Seward is known as the gateway to Kenai Fjords National Park and Alaska's only deepwater, ice-free port. It's a working fishing town, a cruise ship stop, and surprisingly, the mural capital of Alaska. And while Seward may feel quaint, it sits at the edge of some of the wildest landscapes in the state. It does smell fishy down here.
I smell fish.
They're saying there could be some swells because of the weather yesterday, so we'll see how rough the boat is. All right, there's our kayaks up there.
Right, watch stepping on board, got a gap and stuff. Careful.
Kenai Fjords National Park is shaped by ice, ocean storms, and time. Over half of the park, 51%, is still covered by glaciers. Today's journey takes us from Seward through Resurrection Bay and deep into Aialik Bay to Holgate Glacier. Just days earlier, we were hiking Exit Glacier, another arm of the same Harding ice field. If you missed that hike, it gives a completely different perspective of the ice we're about to paddle beside. The boat ride alone is an experience. We pass towering cliffs, waterfalls spilling straight into the ocean, and coves that feel completely untouched. Spire Cove, named for its dramatic rock formations, is just one of those places you'd never reach by road. Along the way, we spotted bald eagles, puffins, sea otters, sea lions, and more jellyfish than we could count.
The sea keeps turning in the water, so they don't have any blubber like our other marine mammals do. So they're reliant on their super dense fur to keep them warm. We've got a fully adult bald eagle. It takes them 4.5 to 5 years to get their bald head and their white tail.
It's a jellyfish, and what happens to these guys is they don't really have directional ability to swim anywhere. They just go with the tides, and they get washed up on the shore. And if they get washed up in low tide, they just die. Cool little fish, feels like jelly. That's why I call them jellyfish. But right here out of the Kenai Peninsula. Cool.
Very neat. Kenai Fjords is mainly accessible by boat or plane, with minimal roads through most of the park, and that isolation is part of what keeps it wild. It was finally time to disembark. After gearing up and getting a safety briefing and demonstration, we were finally ready to get inside our kayaks. And with a few adjustments, we were ready to go.
If that's where you're going, that's where.
Are you ready?
I'm always ready to go fish.
Vito's in control of this ship. We better not capsize.
Getting ready to head out here, buddy. What do you think?
Well, everything's wet.
You ready?
We're gonna be wet.
A couple paddles, just a little bit further away from shore.
We are out on the water. This was our first time sea kayaking ever. It was raining, the water was cold, and yes, you absolutely get wet. But kayaking offers something no larger boat ever could. The quiet, the closeness, the sound of rain tapping the water. And then, ice falling from the glacier. Oh, that just came down. Holgate Glacier flows directly from the Harding ice field into the sea, creating one of the most dramatic tidewater glacier settings in the park. We paddled roughly 3.5 miles along this rugged shoreline, surrounded by clouds clinging to the mountains and waterfalls pouring down their sides.
Lots of waterfalls.
You can hear that? We've got a bird on the beach over here on the left. Can't quite see him. There is a bird making that noise. That's called the black oystercatcher. So it's a black bird with a bright orange beak. I think it might be walking along the shoreline there. They eat things like shellfish and mussels.
As they say in the Army, buddy, we ain't training unless it's raining.
Look at all this water coming down.
Ice in the bay and it's not raining. You can actually hear as the air bubbles pop when it hits the water.
Do you realize we were not going to go back?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's
So she said
a one-way trip. We got a little bit of a wake coming in off the boat. Here we go. There's the big one. Get ready. I think we got through it. Our team out here, we're heading for shore. Let me back up with the boat up here. We are finishing up our sea kayaking.
How was it, man?
It was good. I wish that it was clear, but even in the rain, it was great. I'm a little chilled, but I'll get dried off pretty soon.
By the time we reached our takeout beach, we were cold, wet, and completely content. Hot soup never tasted so good, and wild salmon berries were a reminder that even in the harsh conditions, Alaska still provides. This wasn't about perfect weather or postcard photos. It was about experiencing Alaska as it is. Raw, unpredictable, and unforgettable.
Everybody wants to hop on.
So, was it worth the $500? For us, absolutely. Not because it was comfortable, but because it was real. This was one of those days that becomes part of your story.
We just came off the boat. It was a long day. It was a long ride out there.
Yeah, it was a 2-hour drive out on the boat, 2 hours back. Betty is beat. What are you going to do now, Betty?
I need a very hot shower. I am chilled.
And a nap.
Yeah. So the ride was pretty good. There was a section out there that had swells. And so we
You
had
got
some...
seasickness.
No, I just have to face forward. Great day kayaking, even in the rain. Turned out to be a nice.
Yeah,
nice
the only
go.
thing that was bad because of the cloud cover is you couldn't get the nice views in the background of what you wanted. Like we went through Spire Cove.
Oh,
Spire
yeah.
Cove is beautiful. I got a screensaver picture, but you know, with all the clouds, you just couldn't see everything. A lot of
Yes.
puffins though. A lot of puffins, a lot of sea otters, and we saw one sea lion.
It's very unusual to see those sea puffins in the cliff area. They're usually out in the ocean. They only go there to breed. So we lucked out. So tomorrow, though, we're heading to...
Homer.
We leave Seward behind and head south until the road quite literally ends. In episode 5, we arrive in Homer, Alaska, perched on the edge of Kachemak Bay, where artists, fishermen, homesteaders, and wildlife all share the same shoreline. From puffins and sea otters on the water to naturalist-led hikes and stories of those who chose to build a life at the end of the road, Homer shows us a completely different side of Alaska. And it's just the beginning of our journey into even more remote places.
We'll see what tomorrow brings. Be sure to join us.